welcome to Mo Boxing No Problem. I'm Jose Ramirez Jr., and today I have the honor of interviewing pro boxer Ryan Cowboy Karl. How's it going, Ryan?
Hey man, how's it going? It's going great. I'm blessed, mad blessed.
Thank you. Appreciate you making the time. I know you got a busy schedule, but it really means a lot.
Oh yeah, no, I appreciate you having me on. We've had a long day, but you know what? God is good, and everything's gonna be all right.
Absolutely, man. As long as you got God with you, you're good. And then before we get
Right.
started with the questions, I do have a video I want to show so people that aren't too familiar with your fighting style kind of get a feel for what Ryan Karl's all about. So
That
let's,
sounds good.
let's play that first. There you have it. So
Good
that was
times.
a younger Ryan, as you can see on the top right hand corner prospect of the year. So that was some years back.
Yeah, a few years ago, it's good times.
Yeah, you've grown a lot since then. My first question for you, I like asking all the guests we have on here, kind of their backstory, how they got into boxing. So I'll do the same with you. What got you into boxing?
My dad taught us how to fight from a very young age. He grew up, had a very hard life, grew up a very rough way, and he made sure we were always prepared. From the things that he learned, and so taught us how to fight and things like that. Had a boxing bag in the house. Taught us how to throw straight punches. Always taught us that's the way to fight. It was nothing about boxing. It was only one rule in a fight, and that's to win. Don't matter what you got to do. We're here to win no matter what. And so then my brother wanted to start boxing. So my mom found a boxing gym in Waco. It was about 70 miles one way. And so we started going to Waco Boxing Club for my brother. And I fell in love with it. And he was probably more of a natural than I was. But I had the different type of package than he had.
Hmm.
He was 16. He was worried about girls and things like that. I was 11, and I loved it. I love sports and I love things like that too. I was in fights all the time, anyways. I was a little redheaded, freckle-faced little white boy. You know, People are gonna try to pick on you. And if my dad taught us not to let nobody, and so we were always in fights. I was in particular, and so it was never nothing really strange for me. It was to defend myself, and but boxing taught me self-respect, discipline. It gave me such a confidence in myself to where I believe now that all kids should join boxing, should be taught boxing for sure, because
Yeah.
of just the self confidence it gave me in myself, where I didn't have to get in a fight. Almost all my fights in my life, um, I was in fights all the time before I started boxing. Once I started boxing, they declined about 90%. It really did.
Hmm.
I didn't have to hit somebody for saying something to me or saying a your mama joke. I didn't have to do what I had to do. And it wasn't that me learning how to box made me get in fights more, is what people often associate it with. It helped me not fight and understand, um, it's different whenever you're getting in a fight or you're getting into the ring with somebody that is prepared to be there. They have trained with the same goal in mind, is to fight you. You're not getting in a fight in school to where this kid might not fight you back or something like that. And that's where a lot of the bullying happens. Is just people are picked on because of that reason, because they won't fight.
Yep.
And so it's different. It teaches you a whole new respect for it.
No, I agree 100% with that. I think it's a valuable skills in boxing that you can learn, and definitely if you got the opportunity to pick it up, do so. And
For
I know we
sure.
had actually had a pro boxer here from Mexico. He said his inspiration for getting into boxing was a Cinderella Man, and
Yeah.
he got to get outside of Mexico and travel to the U.S. and different parts, and it's all because of boxing. So boxing
Yeah.
opens up a lot of doors for people.
Well, there's lots of doors that have opened for me because of boxing that never would have happened. My father, my mother, and my father, all of us together had never flown until boxing,
There you go.
and we were flying in national tournaments and amateurs. We're doing all these things. Everywhere we've gone together that we never would have been. So it's
Hmm.
not. It's like it's taken me so many places and given me so many relationships with people and opportunities with people, and opportunities that I let pass a lot of times to talk about God and talk about Jesus Christ that I let pass in my life, is to where not to necessarily preach to people, but just to show His love through my actions. And I didn't always fulfill that, but I was given those opportunities, and something we all need to be aware of.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I want to touch on your nickname. How did you get the nickname Cowboy?
Well, in all honesty, my original nickname that my mom hated was the Raging Caucasian. Uh, Jaime Lerma El Torito. He was a world champion. I don't remember the year, but he's a boxer out of Waco, Texas, and he was one of my coaches. And we were training and stuff, and the way I fought, and he taught that kind of style. Anyways, you go forward and you fight, and you don't take a backward step. And he told us in not those nice of words, right? And so. Uh, and he gave it the nickname the Raging Caucasian, and it stuck. And my mama hated it. She said, "We can't call him that. That's racist, Jaime." And this is back 20 years ago, almost. We're talking about
Uh-huh.
15 years ago. And
Yeah.
and so she said, "Jaime, that's racist. We can't call him that." He said, "What else are you gonna call a redheaded, freckle-faced white boy?" You know. And so that was my original nickname. Everybody would call me Raging. And but I'd walk around the fights like I always do, my boots, my jeans, and I've got my cowboy hat, which I'm not wearing right now because I got my cocky hat on, praise God. And but it's how I always showed up. Boots and jeans, belt buckle, cowboy hat, and you'd have all the kids that would think it was funny every now and then they'd say, "Yeehaw," or something like that. But
Hmm.
everybody, whenever I came up to fight, everybody would be at the ring. My style, the way I fought, and it turned into that's cowboys fighting. And it's something I earned. It was never something I was given. It's not something I called myself. It was just something that stuck to me, and people loved it, and I
Nice.
enjoy it. I hear people call me cowboy now more than I've had friends from the amateurs that I've known through, you know, gone to so many tournaments with them and years of knowing them. And my mom will mention something about Ryan, and they're like, "Who's that? Who's Ryan?" And I'm like, "That's me, man. Like, what are you talking about? We roomed together like at 3 national tournaments. I'm like, hey, Golden Gloves or something, right? Like, what do you mean, who's Ryan? That's me." And because they just always heard me call Cowboy, and so it's just different, but it's who I am. So it fits me because it's not something made up or given. People are like, "Oh, can you ride horses?" I'm like, "That's like nothing." It's like everybody's got a horse. It seems like out here, everybody's riding horses. Everybody's doing things like this, and it's more of a way of living, a way of life, and a way of handling things than it is so much as I'm not out here trying to look like Clint Eastwood. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to be something I'm not. And
Hmm.
I'm not out here riding bulls, but I am punching fools, So it's like you got to take one and give one.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I gotta side with your mom. I think Cowboy is much more marketable and definitely fits you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, she didn't like that. She didn't like it at all. My dad thought it was funny, but she didn't. She wasn't gonna have nothing to do with it.
And you mentioned your fighting style. It's something that you've definitely become known for. Your come forward fighting style. Is that something you take great pride in? Give fans action-packed fights.
Well, I've got a lot of heart, and sometimes I've got what I was told, and sometimes I agree with is too much, and I like to fight too much, and I've got too much in it for myself. I've got too much pride at times, and to where it would do me much better to box than it would be to fight. And I love to fight. I love the action. I love to be in the ring, and it's just something that's natural for me. It's something I really enjoy. It's funny because people tell me all the time, you get beat up for a living, you get hit for a living. I'm like, not on purpose. Like, I'm not trying to get hit, most of the time, but it's a fight. You're going to get hit. And it's going to happen. I love to perform. That's really what it comes down to. I love to perform. I love to be in front of people. I love the crowd. There's nothing more exciting to me than to hear the crowd cheering for you and just love you. To be loved, I guess is what it is, right? It's
Right.
just to be loved. And so, like for instance, after a fight, whenever I'm walking out of the ring, whether I win or lose. So after the Mario Barrios fight, I'm walking out of the arena, right? Well, I'm walking from the ring to the back, and the crowd's going freaking nuts over there with me, right? They're all hollering for me, screaming for me. I got my hands up, and they're like all the way up as high as I can see. They're just cheering for me and screaming for me because of the fight I put on. Not
Mhm.
because I lost or none of that. They don't even care about that because of the heart I showed. And I look at my other fights. It's like people come up, they want to talk to you, want to be around you. They tell you how much heart you have, and it's like in my mind, I don't see it as having heart. I just see it as me. It's just natural. It's not nothing I can do about it. It's just you've got that dog in you or you don't, and it's naturally going to come out whenever the hard times. When things get tough, you're either going to quit or you're going to get mad dog mean.
Mhm.
And Josie Will style. And so you're going to do what you have to do. And that's me. And it's just something I enjoy and something I love. And I love the fact I tell people, I said, whether you like me or not, doesn't matter if you like me or not, when you watch my fight, you're going to be entertained. You're going to be
Mhm.
satisfied. You're going to get your money's worth. You're going to be like, that's the best fight of the night almost every time because I'm going to give it everything I have. And so I got I fight with a lot of heart. I don't just have a lot of heart. I fight with a lot of heart.
No, I agree, and I think just to add to that, Cowboy, I think win loss records can be a bit overrated. There's boxers like Gabriel Rosado, Dirk Chisora that have lots of losses on their record, but people still tune in and see them watch because they're exciting. And I think we ran into technical difficulties on your end.
Sorry about
All
that.
right. No worries, no worries. Yeah, I was just saying, like, regardless of the win loss record, if you're entertaining, people will watch. Like Gabriel
Yeah.
Rosado and Derek Chisora. Those are names that have lots of losses on the records, but people still watch them because every time they're out there, it's a fan friendly fight.
Well, everybody got kind of hooked on this Mayweather O thing, right? So everybody
Yeah.
kind of got stuck on that, and they think that if I lose, I'm done. And to be honest with you, I got to that as well as a fighter. We all get to that, right? So that's what it's perceived as, is that well, he's undefeated. He's undefeated. He's got to be so great. He's got all these things about him. He's undefeated. And once you lose, they're like, you're only as good as your last fight. Now you're trash. And you see it so much. You see it even with promoters, how they treat you, how people treat you. You're only as good as your last fight, and you're not their guy no more, almost to an extent at times. And so I'm not saying that's true with me, but I've seen it. And so it's just like this plague. It's a sickness for fighters, and it's like they're trying to chase this O, and when they lose it, they can't even fight anymore. They don't have the passion anymore. They don't want to be there anymore. And to me, it was like I lost my O, and I was like, I want to get it back. All I wanted was that fight back, and then I lost to Kevin Watts. I'm like, let's do it. Like they would give me a rematch. I couldn't get one on the other one, so they did, and I got it, and I got it right back, right. And then of course we've always searched for the Eddie fight again. We have always wanted that fight back, and then we lost to Mario. I want that one back. I lost a close fight to Omar. Asked for that
Yeah.
back multiple times. Haven't gotten it. Maybe I will in the future. Who knows? But I want it back, and it's not anything to do with a no, because I don't have that to lose anymore. It has something to do with just heart and respect, and I'm here to fight because it's what I love to do, and I'm here to put on a show. And also on top of that, beside besides the point of being a performer, I want to be a world champion. That's still my goal. My goal has not changed. Is to be a world champion, and so that's something I'm looking to achieve.
Yeah, and I do want to talk about that Kevin Watts because that really stuck out to me because the first fight, you lost by stoppage, and then it was a immediate rematch for you, and then you won by KO. Normally, you don't
Yeah,
see that unless it's like kind of controversial, but you specifically asked for that rematch.
yeah. We had to have it. We had to have it. There was no question about it. It was something that had to be done. And so, as long as the way I felt about it was that, and then also in the fact that everybody else felt that way as well. Ryan,
Mhm.
you've got to get this fight back. And so I'm like, that's great because that's exactly what I want. But what happened with the fight was, so the Eddie fight, we get done with the Eddie fight, okay? I'm not going to get into all that about whether taking the fight or not, but the circumstances, because I did, no matter what I was going through at the time I took the fight. So then I get surgery right after, right? So I get my sinus surgery done that I should have had done before that caused me a lot of issues. I'm not trying to be an excuse maker here, so I want to be careful on that, because I'm not.
Mhm.
And so then we fight a fight, and we go the distance with it. And I'm having a lot of troubles. And I fight. Who do I fight? What happened? I fought Kareem Martin, right? Then I fight Kareem Martin. I had double elbow surgery, right? So I beat Kareem Martin in a good fight, and I have double elbow surgery. I get my UCL replaced on my left elbow, and I get my right elbow fixed as well, right? Bone spurs in both, and I get them all taken out. And I come back, and when I fought Kareem Martin, I didn't have my UCL. I was already completely detached in sparring. I had no UCL in that fight. And so it was just a toughness deal in that fight. I remember it. You just got to bite down, and you want to win. You want to win. So you got to do what you got to do. It's gonna hurt, but that's life.
Mhm.
Life hurts,
Yep.
and so uh, I get the double elbow surgery. I go into the fight with Kevin Watts, and I'm not ready, not in shape. We've been sparring like 4 to 5 rounds, and I'm tired, not in good shape. I haven't had good discipline. Kind of goes back to the Eddie loss. Not that the surgery, the Eddie loss, it kind of was building up on me. I was tired. A lot of things, just not doing what I should have done. And I went in the fight easy, no problem at all. I just die, tired, exhausted, dead
Right.
exhausted, and I lose. I get caught and I lose, and I get stopped standing. Right, I get knocked down once, but I get stopped. I get stopped standing. Right, because it's like the ropes or whatever holding me up, I guess. And it wasn't like I was knocked out smooth or nothing like that. and then we get the rematch back. And so then I'm not in the best of shape. I don't really, I'm not in the best of shape, and I don't really feel that great in the fight. Um, but I was tough. I was too dry, but I was tough, and I knew I was tough. I go out there and I have no timing, but I was tough, and I'm like, no, sir, we're not gonna come out here and lose to Kevin Watts again. This ain't gonna happen today. You know,
Right.
come hell or high water, this ain't happening. We're gonna fight. And so we was fighting and rough and tough, and of course they stopped it in the fifth round. And so it was a good fight. It was an exciting fight. I got nothing but respect for Kevin. Um, but whatever he's doing now, I don't know. But that's kind of how that one happened. It was kind of a it all comes back to me.
Hmm.
Is my fault in the original. Not to say that Kevin Watts isn't a good fighter. I'm not trying to take anything from him, but I am saying that it was all my fault. It was all me, in my opinion, no doubt. And then so
No, well, thank you for the backstory because I was definitely curious of how that played
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Um, so now I want to talk about kind of your next fight. Is there already a target date in mind?
November, hopefully.
November.
November, end of November, and so that's what we're hoping for. We're training. I'm working out. I'm trying to be in good shape. I'm trying to be obedient. I'm trying to obey and do what I'm supposed to do. I'm trying to. My discipline is better than it ever has been. And you hear guys come all the time and they say, "Oh, it's the best camp I've ever had," and this and that. And it's like you almost feel like you have to sit in the fighter meeting because you don't want anybody to know that you're lacking. And
Hmm.
so but am I in the best shape? No. Am I stronger than I've ever been? Yes. I'm definitely stronger than I've ever been. Um, I'm bigger than I've ever been. This next fight will be at 47, I'm sure. For sure. I don't right now anyways coming in. I might work my way back down, but right now it's gonna be at 47 for this fight. And so hopefully looking at the end of November, and I feel great. I mean, I really do. I feel like I feel like I've matured and I've got that man strength now. I did mature late, but I feel really strong and I feel really confident. My discipline, like I said, is greater than it's ever been. I don't have to worry about being, having encouragement or having, feeling good. And well, I don't really feel like going and doing that right now. It's not like that. It's like I just go do it because I'm supposed to do it. Except for I'm a grown man. I'm
Hmm.
supposed to go do what I'm supposed to do. I don't need nobody to tell me. I don't need my dad or my coach or someone to say, "Hey, did you go work out? Did you go run today? What'd you eat today? What'd you do?" Because I'm the one that's going to pay for it. And so I don't need that anymore. It's made a world of difference.
No, definitely. And then, do you have a boxer in mind for your next fight?
Well, of course, we want the Omar fight back. Omar Juarez, we wanted that back. No way they're going to fight me at 47, I don't think. And I'm not saying I blame them in general, but they're not
Hmm.
going to fight me at 47. I don't foresee it. We asked for it before and they didn't want it, so I don't think they'll want it now. But I don't know their life. I don't know what he's going through. We want the Mario fight back. We want, the Eddie Ramirez fight back. Those are all fights that I know for sure that I can call names out and say these are fights that I want 100%, no doubt in my heart. Other than that, I want to fight. I don't really have anybody in mind. I'm not really a big on calling names out and to that extent. Now it's not disrespectful to say somebody you'd like to fight, but I don't know um, by name anybody in particular I would like to fight. I know
I
for
mean,
this fight it's going to be back at 47, but after that I might move back down to 40. I might stay at 47. I'm not real sure.
no, definitely. I mean, as you mentioned, I think the goal for you is to get another title shot opportunity, and this time win it. So whatever name gets you closer
That's what I
to that
want.
goal.
That's right. Don't matter to me. I'll fight anybody. I don't have any preferences. I don't have any things. I mean, I guess the higher the ranking, the better for me. I guess that's how I feel.
Right.
I don't really care. I'm not scared of anybody. I fear no man, and I can say that wholeheartedly. Right? I used to say I fear no man but my dad, and but the closer I've become with God, I don't fear anybody. I don't fear any man. I don't fear anything like that. And so I'm just ready. Whatever I got to do, I'm ready to do it. I'm not looking for excuses. I'm not looking for any way out of anything. I'm ready to hit it head on.
All right. And then Ryan, are you still training with Ronnie Shields?
No, I'm not training with Ronnie. Mainly just training with my father now. I have
Right
been
now.
for like let's see, probably the last 3 or 4 fights. I've been training with just my father. Not, I don't have any issues with Ronnie. Ronnie's great people. I've just got 4 kids, and it's hard being away. It's hard leaving. Going to stay in the whole camp, 2.5, 3 hours away, and coming home on the weekends. I've got an 8-year-old boy's my oldest, and I've got an 8-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 1-year-old, and a 6-month-old, and so it gets hard. It gets hard, not just on my wife. It's hard for my children to have their dad gone, don't not to have that role model. And then if I'm not gone, I'm driving 3 days a week to Houston. Now I'm driving, 6 hours round trip 3 days a week,
Yeah.
and so it's hard on my body. And so I'm training with my dad like I always did in the amateurs. And my dad's always been in my camp. He's always been one of my trainers forever, for my whole career. And so I'm training with Karl Perry at his gym, and we train with Karl as one of our strength trainers and our assistant coaches there at Bryan Boxing Club and Brian. And so it's working out great. We have no complaints about any of that.
I'm glad to hear it. And then speaking of your preparation, how do you prepare? Do you watch a lot of tape on your opponents, or do you mostly kind of focus on making improvements to your style?
Well, of course, originally, as soon as you get the date, and as soon as you get the opponent, we're already training. And so when we get the opponent, we're immediately going to look at them, right? We're going to look at them. My dad's going to look at them. A lot of times, my dad, of course, he'll tell me who it is, and I'll find it. We'll send each other stuff about them, and we'll look it up immediately, first thing. And we check them out. We're looking at them and watching them. We go dad starts to kind of build this game plan in his head, right? He starts to build this game plan, or Ronnie, or whoever it is, they build this game plan, and Karl. And so we work forward on that. We continue to. I just start training. I'm already in good shape, so that it's a
Hmm.
good thing about for me. I don't have to get in shape. I don't have to worry about that whole get in shape process because I'm already in shape. And so we will. I'll start watching them every now and then, but it's only necessarily when I feel like I have to. It's not all the time. It's funny. It's like I'll be thinking about it. I'll be thinking about something, and I'll be like, I've got to watch them. And I'll sit there and I'll watch them for 30 minutes, watch different fights of them, watch certain things of them, or things like that. And I'm like, I got it. Like, I got it. And then be like 2 weeks later, like, I'm going to watch them again, right? And then we get closer, we're watching, we talking. And my dad has me watch it with them. We're watching it with them, and we're talking about it together, what we're going to do. And he's explaining things so I can see it right there in action. And then in a fight, we'll come back, say, I'm fighting Quezada. We watched that video. And I come back after the first round, or I come back after the third round was his best round. I took it off I kind of took off the third round. And but I see something, right? I've already knocked him down a couple times, like you would think I would have saw it already. But
Hmm.
and I come back and right side I said, I got him. I got him. Like I got him. I know him. Like I got him. He's like, what are you talking about? Like I got him now. Like I see it. Don't worry. I see it. Like
Uh-huh.
he's like, I am worrying, Cowboy, because I know you, right? He's like, what are you seeing? And I'm like, and I go
Mhm.
out there and I stop him. I remember doing all the time with my dad in different fights and different guys. It's like I see it. Like I see it. I see what I'm looking for, right? I've figured him out. I'm like, I got him, Dad. That's it. Like in the amateurs all the time, he'd come over there and be like the second round. He's like telling me stuff, and I'm like, I got him, Dad. Don't worry, I got him. Just wait, just wait. He's like, he just saw the first round, so he's like, Ryan, he corrected. I'm like, don't worry, Dad, I got him. He still tells me, but I'm like, I got him, Dad. And I go out there and I emphasize on it because I see it, right? And it's just like I can actually do it now. I see it at the end of the round, or I see it in a glimpse of something, and I'm like, I got
Mhm.
it. I remember I seen Quezada's face. I hit him with a hard jab right before I knocked him down that last time and the bell rang. I remember hitting him, and I saw it in his face. He wanted to quit, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I like Quezada. He was a nice kid.
Mhm.
Didn't say anything bad about me, and I didn't say anything bad about him. But I saw it in his face. He didn't want to be there. He was hurt. I saw that jab. I hit him in the eye. I saw his eyes swollen, but I saw it hurt him. The look on his face, the look of pain, which is something you ain't supposed to do as a boxer. That's a
Mhm.
big no. I saw it. And I was like, he don't want to be here no more. He's gone. He's looking for a way out. That's what I was thinking. And sure enough, I get him out of there, right? And so it's funny the things you see. But my preparation is that we watch some film and stuff like that, but we don't get too overzealous with it. We watch film on the fighters and we learn them, and but we don't base everything on it. 'Cause everybody's different than what they are on the videotape, right? They're fighting somebody different for one.
Yeah.
You're either watching a guy that's fighting somebody that's not good at all, or you're fighting somebody that's really good, and you're gonna underestimate how good the guy is and think this guy's that easy, or you're gonna overestimate how good he is and think that the other guy was supposed to be good. And so you got to be careful with that.
Absolutely. You got to be ready for the adjustments that they're bound to make inside the ring.
It's always different in the ring. You can say what you want to say. They look like one way outside, but when you get in the ring, it's all different. There's no hold
Absolutely.
on. You can't pause and replay that. It's like
No.
it's live right then. Get ready.
Exactly. The adjustments are you got to make them quick, and they're in the in between rounds. And
That's right. You're gonna pay for them.
you've certainly shown you got power, Ryan. But I want to flip it. Who's someone that you would say has been the hardest puncher, either in sparring or in a fight?
Hardest puncher. Okay. Hardest puncher. Um, let's see. Hardest puncher. Uh, everybody's got a different kind of power, right? So
Right.
I'll say guys like I sparred Regis all through the amateurs. Me and Regis sparred hundreds of rounds. Me and Regis progressed, just so I'm
Mhm.
clear on that. We sparred hundreds of rounds. Regis can punch. He's a very natural puncher. He don't have to try to punch. He can punch hard. And I don't know who the hardest one would be. I've sparred lots of guys. Um, who the hardest puncher I've ever been in the ring with is Laura. No doubt about it. Laura. Of course, he is bigger than me. Um, I mean, but he's unreal. Being in the ring with Laura was totally different. His sense of range and his length is crazy. Doesn't make any sense how long he is and how he can hit you from where he can. His arms, I swear, he can put his shoes on standing straight up. It is the guy. I mean, like he scratches ankle while he's talking to you standing up. It's crazy.
Wow.
You don't got to bend his leg. And he's got long arms. He can hit you with that long range and long arms, and he's got power in that left hand. He really does. And you'll see it in some of his fights, right? He's got power, but his timing and setup are everything. And I think that's what makes him have such power. He's probably the strongest person I've ever been in the ring with, and obviously he's going to be the most the best boxer I've ever been in the ring with. I mean, I've been in the ring with Jermel, Charlo,
Mhm.
uh, with Laura, with lots of guys. Like I was a kid, I was sparring Casey Ramos all the time. I first came to Ronnie, I was sparring this guy Danny O'Connor, and I like Danny a lot personally. And guys like that. So I mean, I get in the ring with a lot of these guys and stuff, and none of them really have stuck out to me like Laura does. No, nobody has. His fluidity and his movement, his range, his sense of range is incredible.
Good to hear. And then I want to ask you, kind of growing up, who was your favorite boxer?
Ricky Hatton,
Ricky
without
Hatton.
a doubt,
Nice.
without a doubt, Ricky Hatton was my guy, man. He was my guy. He lived and died in the ring. And that was
Mhm.
him. He had that heart, and I guess it was just natural for me and kind of how my personality is. And so he was I just love Ricky, man. I just loved him. I love the way he fought. I loved his heart. I love what he came with, his intensity, all of that. Of course, love Arturo Gatti, Mickey Ward, those guys, all those kind of guys like that. I'm just like I'm stuck to. Even from a child, right? Even from a child, it was like that's what I was looking for. I
Mhm.
wasn't. You see some kids that are out there, they're watching these real slick boxers, and they think they're the world. They're making them miss everything, and they're hitting them with little jabs here and little jabs there, or they're winning fights, but it's just not like the same style. And they're like, man, they love that guy. They want to be like him. That was never me. And it's not that I have anything against them. Boxing, it takes all kinds, right?
Right.
Takes all kinds. And so, but my thing was, I love that. I just love that heart, that blood and guts. I remember watching uh, Rafael Marquez and Israel Vasquez and all them, right? And they're watching them
Yeah.
wars, and I would
Mhm.
think, man, I want to be in a war like that. I always want to be in a war like that, and maybe I will someday. Who knows? But it's probably my mom would always tell me, "No, you don't, Ryan. Don't get in a war like that. That's a bad idea." And so, but I just love that style, and I think that's what sucks me into fights so much and gets me out of my game plan is because I long for that a little bit. And but like of course Floyd Mayweather, I mean he's Floyd. You gotta love him. His technicality, as smart as he is in the ring, he's unbelievable. You can't knock him in any way. Besides if you just don't like him personally, but nothing
Mhm.
in the ring. It's like he's an all time great. Like it is what it is. I can't say anything else about it. And so
Oh, perfect. And then now bringing to present day, who would you say is your the number one pound for pound fighter?
number one pound for pound fighter right now is I don't care that Canelo lost to Bivol. I don't. Pound for pound, he's probably still number one.
To Canelo.
Pound for pound. I mean, you can lose to somebody. He's what they fight at 75, two weight
Yeah,
classes
75.
above. He unified after he's already done 60. He unified 68. Now he's gone up to 75. He's gonna lose eventually. It's like saying that if he would have beat Bivol and he would have gone to light heavyweight and he would have won there too, and he would have gone to heavyweight and lost to Tyson Fury, you would say, oh, he can't be pound for pound no more because he lost to Tyson Fury. It doesn't make any sense to me. He's still pound for pound as far as that goes. Doesn't mean that he's gonna beat guys, everybody in every weight division like that. I think that him and Terrence Crawford's a great fighter. I think the Errol Spence and Crawford's, is just an explosive fight. I'm excited for it to happen eventually one day when I'm 90, and but we'll see. And but I mean, I think that really Canelo's still that guy for me. He's still the pound for pound guy. He's still the king right now. He's still the king of boxing. He's still the face of boxing.
Right.
Now, I'm a big fan of Caleb Plant because I know Caleb Plant, not just because of his boxing. He's a very good boxer, but I know him and I know his personality. I know the way he treats people, and I guess I could kind of say I know his heart, and I like that, right? I love Caleb and his wife and him and his family so much because of that reason. Um, but you got guys like that. Jamal can fight Jamel. Jamel has got to be right there mentioned with that, with pound for pound stuff. If you're gonna just start picking guys that are staying in their own weight class that are winning everything, how could you not pick Jamel? I mean, he's fought everybody. It seems like and he's right there still standing. He's fought hard fights. He's been in hard fights. He's completely did a complete 180 on his whole career. He's
Yep.
strictly a boxer, and he's gonna turn into knocking everybody out. You know, it's like who does that? You know, and he's got more work ethic than probably anybody in the sport. I would say Jamel lives for it so much. He's so much into boxing. It's his goal. It's what he is. It's his job. It's his life, and it really shows. Knowing Jamel and his personality, that's why he's so good.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. And then we got a Bruce, Gas Boxing, Jazz, and more coming through saying salute. So salute, Bruce. All right. So the next section, Ryan, we're gonna move into what we call the fan segment. Is where I ask you to basically put your fan hat on, and I'm gonna give you three fights that are either confirmed, rumored, and you'll tell me who's gonna win out of that matchup.
Okay, let's do
All
it.
right. So the first fight, I know everyone's talking about Errol Spence turns Crawford, but I've heard Keith Thurman's probably the backup. So what would happen if
Yeah,
Errol Spence and Keith Thurman fight? Who wins that one?
right now,
Mm-hmm.
Errol Spence. I
Okay.
think based off of last fights, I think Errol Spence does. I was a real big Keith Thurman fan. I really was. But based off of his last fight with Mario and kind of his layoff, I don't really. It doesn't stick with me well. I guess
Yeah,
I think Errol wins in the backup. Yeah, he beats Keith Thurman.
I have to agree with you there. And then we got Skywalker saying salute, Azua and Ryan. So salute Skywalker.
What's up, guys?
All right. The next fight I want to talk to you about, you mentioned his name, Regis Prograis. He has a big fight coming up with Jose Chon Zapata. Who's going to win that matchup?
Sean is gonna win. It's Regis. Regis can fight. Don't get me wrong. Regis can fight and he can punch. He's a great fighter. He's got a ton of heart. He's not gonna beat Zapata because Zapata's got too much heart. He's got a good chin, and he can box too good. He's got too good of feet. He's gonna. I think that he's just not gonna be able to stick with them. Is what the problem is gonna be. Regis wants to walk people down. He's not gonna be able to walk them down. And even though he can really crack, Regis can. He's not gonna be there on them short shots that Regis needs to knock him out. Regis isn't long and tall. That's what it's going to take, I think, in my opinion, for to be Zapata, unless you're, of course, what's his name, and it's going to put all that pressure on him. It's going to kind of pressure bust pipes. And so Ramirez, that's his name. And so I think Zapata.
All right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that fight, and it's definitely 50-50. So
Yeah, it's going to
excited
be a
to
good
see how it
fight.
plays out.
It's going to be
And
exciting.
then the next one is just a hypothetical. I think it may have been rumored in the past, but who would win out of Virgil Ortiz Jr. versus Rashidi Speedy Ellis?
Ortiz, Virgil.
Virgil.
Virgil. I don't. Virgil's too good. He's too young. He's too strong. He's got the package right now. I don't see him. I don't see it happening. I don't see him losing.
I
Not
know
right
he.
now to guys like that. You get now styles of guys make differences. Like if you were to put Virgil in there with Boots, um, that's different. That's a completely different style change. He'd have trouble with that, I think. But otherwise, no.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Ortiz and Boots Ennis, they're gonna take over. After Spence and Crawford are done
I
with
don't
their
think
work.
they're gonna. I don't think they'll take over because I think they're gonna go. I think they're gonna go to 54. I
Oh,
think they're too big.
you think you're gonna
Yeah,
outgrow the
yeah.
division? Okay.
I think they're too big. I think they're gonna take over 54. In a way, I don't see. I see Boots giving Mel a lot more trouble than I do seeing Virgil giving him just because of styles. And but on top of that, Fundora is like a freaking giant. I don't know how that's gonna work out for anybody at 54. So
Yeah, 6'6", man. And
yeah,
then we've got Bruce with his comments. What does Cowboy think of this weekend's fights? I mean, there's a lot of fights. I think there's like 4 or 5 fight cards. So we got Wilder, Helenius. We got Haney Cambosos. We got Clarissa Shields, Savannah Marshall. I think we got Australian Karl, Liam Paro, Brock Jarvis. Which fight are
yeah.
you most looking for? Looking forward to this
Wilder,
weekend? Wilder fight.
Wilder. Wilder because it's exciting. He's an exciting American. I love Deontay Wilder. I've met him. I know him, and he's such a good guy, such a nice guy. I remember watching him at some fights in Mississippi where I fought at, and he's like waiting for everybody to shake their hand, be kind to everybody, talk to everybody. He's such a good personality, and he was so kind. And I was like, you can't not love him. And then he's knocking everybody out and their mamas. Just because Tyson Fury rose from the dead in that fight don't mean nothing to me. I'm still a big Wilder fan. I mean, I'm also a Fury fan, and so that's he's exciting. I mean, to me, for him, he's just so exciting. I have to watch him. I think he brings so much to boxing, a different aspect of it, especially for Americans and heavyweights. And then you look at, of course, Kambosos. I fought Kambosos in amateurs. I beat him in the amateurs. I don't think he's that good. I was really surprised to see where he got. Not to say that he shouldn't.
Hmm.
I'm happy for him. I'm not trying to knock him in any way. Uh, Haney's going to beat him. I don't see that being a very exciting fight. I don't think he's going to beat him much different. I think it's going to be kind of the same thing, just different day. Clarissa Shields, I'm not big into women's boxing. I don't mean that to be disrespectful to them. I'm just not. It's just not me. And I think she's a great fighter, and I think that it's going to be a great fight. I don't know. I don't know enough about it to say. I've seen
Right.
Clarissa fight, and she can fight, so I know that for sure. I don't know about everything else. And so, the Australians, I mean, I'm not worried about the Australians. I'll be honest with you.
No, no, no
Uh,
worries. I mean, like you said, there's plenty of styles in boxing. I think this weekend
yeah,
there's a style for every boxing fan out there.
that's
So
right. And if you like strictly boxing, Devin Haney's your guy. The Kambosos fight's gonna be it. It's gonna be good. But Deontay Wilder, he's gonna steal the
yeah,
show. He's gonna have the night,
fact.
no matter what, he's gonna steal the show.
I think it's gonna be a sensational knockout. That's what I'm predicting.
Mhm.
So coming back to you, Ryan. You mentioned your family. Your sons, your daughters, your wife. How big of a role do they play in your boxing career?
Huge, huge. I revolve. Our family all works together, right? So my mother, my father, my wife, and my children are just
Oh no, I think we lost Ryan. Hopefully it wasn't his cell phone dying on him. We'll have him back. But we're pretty close to wrapping up. Apologies for the technical difficulties. We'll wait a little bit to see if Ryan can join us. But essentially, it was just kind of this question, and then just asking him what he does as hobbies and interests, and then message to the fans. So we'll see if he joins so we can finish the interview. But if not, we'll do the wrap up. So wait a little bit. And yeah, I mean, Bruce, if you're still on the live chat, I would like to know your opinion of which is the biggest fight you're looking for this weekend. And thank you, Bruce. Appreciate you tuning in and showing love to the channel. Started in January, and you and many other YouTube content creators definitely inspired me to kind of keep going. So appreciate it, brother. Which fight are you looking forward to this weekend? I think me personally, I would probably want to say, Devin Haney, George Kambosos, the most. I know we've already seen the first fight, we saw how it played out, but I'm big on Devin Haney. I think he's very very talented, and I'm excited to see if he can have even more dominant performance. All right, I love the big boys. Yeah, cannot go wrong with the heavyweight boxers. So yeah, this whole weekend is just loaded with great boxing cards. So I posted something on my Instagram just saying it's a boxing fan's dream with how many big cards there are. And I'm super excited too. I know Ryan didn't. He doesn't really watch much of the women. Um, it looks like you don't know as well, Bruce, but I think Clarissa Shields, she's kind of like the Floyd Mayweather of women's boxing, and Savannah Marshall, we can call her kind of the Deontay Wilder of women's boxing because she has a lot of knockouts. So curious to see how boxer meets puncher plays out, especially because in the amateurs they already fought, and Savannah Marshall beat Clarissa Shields. So I'm excited to see how that plays out in the pro ranks. There's a lot of build up, even more build up because it was delayed by a month. So I think that one's going to be going. Yeah, and yeah, Wilder, like Cowboy said, is action. But I don't think we'll be able to get Ryan back. So as I mentioned, we're pretty close to wrapping up. It was just question about what he does in his free time, and then message his fans. So I'll have to just kind of connect and get that in answers, on Instagram and post it on the interview. But uh, thank you for watching, Bruce. Appreciate the love and the live chat. Skywalker, likewise. Thanks for coming through. We'll see you again real soon for another interview. Thanks so much, guys. Peace.